Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Monday. It is Monday. It's a new week. 1 week till Comic-Con week. Thursday, technically for me, it's 1 week till Comic-Con. I know, all the things. So, a little different today. Well, not really. We're going to do Monday, like a simple Monday message, but I'm going to start something new for a while, just so, we kind of get back into center and not always, yammering on about the soapbox stuff, because it's like, it's exhausting, right? Thinking about it. Sometimes we just need a teeny little break. So anyways, that being said, I pulled the new moon in Cancer card from the Moonology deck because I thought that'd be a little fun for today, because the new moon cycle does start today and tomorrow is the actual day of the new moon. And then I'm going to start, remember how I used to do the affirmators, like pull a card a day? We're going to start that with the universe has your back. All right, I shuffled it 3 times last night, haven't looked at anything. So yeah, we'll start that for a little while. We'll kind of intermingle it in between everything else. So, because there are some people I want to talk about. There are some things I want to talk about that are pretty cool stuff that history has to offer us about the Hawaiian culture, the African American culture, and really how they kind of added things to this country, especially the thing I'm going to share with you about the African American culture. That's quite the interesting thing I learned over the weekend watching The Pit. So, season 1, Sibling and I are halfway through season 2. I have to wait 2 weeks to finish it. All right, but that's okay. I know you're on, Sibling. I can see you, but I think I see Muddy. Good morning, Muddy. Forgive me. I've been meaning to text you all weekend, and my squirrel mind kept forgetting to check on you and the fam. Make sure you're okay. Everybody send good juju and prayers and stuff and good vibes, not stuff, but good vibes to Muddy and her family. So they're going through a thing right now. And could really use your prayers. So, not my thing to share, but I just, prayers, good vibes, good juju, all that stuff is appreciated. So, wow. All right, let's go. Oh, yeah. So here's my squirrel brain. And I did say we're going to talk about ADHD soon, and we are, because I had I didn't have a meltdown, but I had a moment, like an aha moment this weekend with older sibling, telling her how hard it is to, anyways, it's not going to be a crutch, but it's something I want to talk about, because I don't think I'm the only one that goes through this stuff, and it can be a little upending and a little overwhelming. So we are going to talk about it. So, but I have to figure it out. I have to figure it all out first. Okay. But anyways, older sibling, you okay? Because, as you can see, I'm home right now, so I can hear her downstairs coughing, hacking her little brain off. I'm guessing she swallowed wrong, but anyway, oh my gosh. Oh, I'll share it tomorrow because it's all packed away. Let's just say older sibling got me set with the Comic-Con essentials. That's right. All right. So new moon in Cancer. New moon in Cancer tomorrow. Today starts a 3-day cycle. So if you want to start manifesting, start manifesting. All right. You can manifest every day, but new moons are kind of like where you're planting the seed, right? The full moon, when it's waning into the dark moon, is, when you let things go, right? Because you're letting that light go. You're not letting your light go, but you're letting that go, right? You're just kind of sending it off to the wherever, the ether, the heavens, hell, wherever you want to send it. But the new moon is when the light starts coming back, when the moon starts waxing, right? The moon starts waxing. And it comes back into the full moon in a couple weeks. So this is the time when you want to plant that seed and start really kind of manifesting and really kind of putting, your all into it. And like I said, you can manifest anytime you want to, but this is just one of those times where a lot of people do the manifestations, because it kind of keeps their focus, right? For 2 weeks or so, you can just focus on this one thing that you're trying to manifest and see what happens. All right. Or a few things, whatever it is. But just remember, give each one of them equal time. So you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Okay. But, I was going to say something else in my brain. Squirreled. It's not the first time you guys have seen me do this. Oh, what was I going to say? It was about the new moon. La la la. Cancer. Oh, right. And remember, when you're manifesting this or something better, If something is not meant for you, what's meant for you will come back. But if you put your brain and focus on one specific thing, then you're going to be like, well, why didn't that happen, Shelly Marie? And it's because I told you this or something better. Especially people, right? People have free will. So if you're looking for love or whatever, manifest, I'm so happy and grateful that I find my soulmate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or my soulmate finds me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're shy like me, you will not know. So I said we started watching The Pit, and I was watching, we were watching an episode yesterday, and this one guy was flirting with one of the doctors, and I looked at Laura and I'm all, I so get it now. I so get it. Because it was me. It was like people flirt with me. It's like, oh yeah, I like this. Oh, I like this. I had no clue. Right over my head. I know. You would think I know, but I don't. That could be a confidence thing. But anyway, I don't know why. You guys, I'm having trouble seeing today. Like my eyes are just feeling a little blurry. But I might be tired. So anyways, I know. It's like looking at myself, I feel blurry, but looking far away, I feel fine. So anyways, so yeah, just remember this or something better, okay? And, like I said, don't manifest specifically for someone. Manifest for that love to come in to you, okay? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to wish for blah, 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 blah. And I mean, if the person's meant for you, they will come in. But, sometimes when we trip ourselves up, so just, fulfilling, loving, healthy relationship. There you go, right? Romantic relationship, because relationships could be anything across the board. Could be family, friends. So, or even if you just want to manifest friends, all right? Or a job, or whatever tickles your funny bone. Only good things, all right? We only work from a good place here on the Aloha Perspective. So, don't make me whammy you. Don't make me whammy you, all right? Send the spiritual army after you, like, pow. So, anyways, just kidding. Just maybe. I'm totally kidding. Sorry. I think I'm in a mood today. So anyway, all right. So you and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. There's a new start coming in your private life. Woo! Look at that. There's a new start coming in your private life. Something is rising up in connection with the people and places you hold dearest. This can be to do with a member of your family, a flatmate. This is how you know British people write this stuff. A flatmate or moving house. Oh, you're welcome, Muddy. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like, when it said places you hold dearest, and I'm like, America and London. And all of a sudden it's like flatmate and moving house. Well, we say roommate, and we say, we're moving. We don't say we're moving houses or, I'm moving to a new house. So, but I like that, moving house, because it's right to the point. So anyways, sorry. My brain is, wow, everywhere today. So if you're hoping to move forwards with something special in your private life, this card comes to you as a message that you can do it. If you've been neglecting your family, it's time to reconnect with them. If you've been neglecting yourself, you need to take better care of yourself and nurture yourself more. If your insecurity is holding you back, that's something for you to work on now. Doing so could bring your heart's desire. Ooh. So anyways, attune to the moon. Make sure you put family first. I have been. Just saying. I have been. I've not been putting me first. Additional meanings for this card. Let someone get a bit closer to you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to come out that way. I'm telling you, I'm in a mood today. Not a bad thing. I mean, when I'm punchy, I'm hilarious. Even if it's just in my own mind. But anyways, let someone get a bit closer to you. A new cycle is starting for your child or children. I don't know what that means. A new cycle is starting for your child or children. So, well, it is halfway through summer. And in some places, they start school next month. And I know my one of my nephews is going to be a sophomore. The other one is going to be a 7th grader. But one of the older ones, he's going to be a freshman in college. I know, it's so exciting. It's time to review your goals. Have they changed? Meditation will help you banish your insecurities. Sorry. My own insecurities are popping out. I want to believe that, but I struggle with that. So anyway, spending time near water will bring you peace and answers. Oh, I love water. So, I know. I am so sorry, you guys. I don't know what's happening to me today. let's try this again. All right. Attune to the moon. Make sure you put your family first. Additional meanings for this card: let someone get a bit closer to you. A new cycle is starting for your child or children. It's time to review your goals. Have they changed? Meditation will help you banish your insecurities. Spending time near water will bring you peace and answers. And it doesn't have to be the ocean, okay? If you don't live near an ocean, a lake, a river, or a stream, there's something called a swimming pool that you can be in. I think the whole point is, if you're a water baby, I am definitely a water baby. But if you're not near any of these things, which I am near most of these things, I think a big part of it is just really being outside and being in nature. Okay, a lot of times being near the ocean helps calm people because the ocean waves are very soothing. But you know, pools help too, you know, and if there's a lot of people there, just bring your earbuds, bring your earphones, and don't worry about what other people think. All right, wear your sunblock because you don't want to get an earphone tan, you know, the wires. So been there, done that. So, you know, just wherever brings you joy, get out there and do it, you know, to find your peace and answers. The teaching: the new moon in Cancer can be a super emotional time. Excuse me. The moon is all about emotions, and Cancer is a water sign, also very emotional. Saying that the moon is very happy in the sign of Cancer. It's one of her 2 home signs along with Taurus. So whenever you pull it, this card suggests that whatever happens next will be in your favor. It's especially positive for family matters. So yay! Yay! I love that. So yeah, you know, I mean, just, you know, ask, believe, receive, right? Ask, believe, receive. But you have to believe. You have to have faith in whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. And remember what I said, this or something better. You don't want to take something from somebody, and you don't want to put anyone in harm's way with your manifestations. You just, you know, this or something better. So if you're worried about that part, just say in the divine right way, you know, because sometimes that makes you feel better. But don't use it as a crutch, or it's going to hold you back, because it's going to make you feel like, oh my God, you know, like you're going to go on alert. You don't want to go on high alert, because that's going to ruin the vibe. And you really have to kind of have a calm nervous system in order to manifest. So if you're not feeling that way, just take, you know, just do some meditations. Do the Ha breathing. Remember the Ha breathing. 7 in, 7 hold, 7 out, 7 hold. And it doesn't have to be 7 seconds. Like I said, I don't want anybody to pass out. You can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just breathe and count. Well, just count to 7 before you start the next one. And then you generally do that 7 times. But if you're new at breathing exercises, like I said, I don't want you to pass out. So just, you know, take it slow. All right. You can do a few at a time, but work your way up to 7. So here we are. The universe has your back. Dun, 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 dun. The universe has, oh, look at that. You are the dreamer of your dream. You are the dreamer of your dream. I know it's backwards, but, and let's see, what does it say on here? This is from Gabrielle Bernstein. She also wrote a book, and I have the journal, The Universe Has Your Back. She's been featured on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday as a next generation thought leader and appears regularly there. Well, used to. Sorry, this is an old deck. The Inspiring 52 card deck offers spiritual guidance to help you find strength when you are down, synchronicity and support when you are lost, safety in the face of uncertainty, and joy in all circumstances. Now it is in your hands. Surrender to the guidance that the cards provide, practice patience and peace, and trust that the universe has your back. And this could be your higher power. Okay, I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. Higher power, the universe, whatever, wherever, whatever, and wherever you put your faith in might be both. Right? I have a very big spirit table, which, by the way, sorry, I was doing something this morning and I forgot to let go. So anyways, this is a good one. So yeah, so let's get rolling. This is our very first card in this deck. My fearless freedom lights up the world. My fearless freedom lights up the world. My fearless freedom lights up the world. I know, my brain, I'm really sorry. My brain is squirreling so hard today. It's like, wow. I am struggling to just kind of just give me 1 second, couple seconds. Okay. So my fearless, well, this is what the card looks like. But my fearless freedom lights up the world. Have you ever noticed that when you, maybe you're going to a party, or maybe you're going somewhere, even just an event, and you're feeling, you got your favorite outfit on, you got your makeup done up, or however, if you're however you do to get yourself ready for whatever event you're going to, but you walk in, you're feeling like $1,000,000, right? And people notice you. And they don't notice you because of whatever it is you're wearing, however you've styled yourself. It's because you're oozing this confidence. You're walking in not saying, hey, everybody look at me, but it's saying, oh, I'm here, world, and I am in it. I mean, we all like it when people pay attention, right, to our hard work. But, no matter what you do, especially Comic-Con, right? Cosplay. Well, I'll use cosplayers as an example. My friend and I were talking about this on Twitter the other day, and, he's like, are you going to cosplay? And I'm like, oh, I did it once, and it was a lot of work. And I didn't even do that much, right? I just threw an outfit together, and I gender bent, one of my favorite doctors. Gender bending means I turned it into the girl version of one of my favorite doctors. And it was like, and it wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. And it was a lot of fun, but it was also a lot of work. And, but there are people at Comic-Con that just, they work all year on their costumes. My mom went to 2 Comic-Cons, and one of them that she went to, she took a picture of one of the Predators. I mean, this person's costume was amazing. A couple years back, after the Avengers Endgame, 3 guys dressed up as, one is Thanos, one is Thor, and the other one as Tony Stark after he put on the gauntlet, right? And it's amazing. A whole family once came as Moana. The father was Maui, the mom was Moana, and they dressed the baby up. One of the babies was Pua. They just put a little, and one of them was Hey, the rooster. So, but it's just so amazing what people do. And, their fearless freedom really does light up the room. They're putting themselves out there, especially for critiquing, because there's always that one person that says, well, it could have been better. And it's like, what? Save your negativity for another day. And most people at Comic-Con will not. I would say as a majority, we all appreciate the effort that people do. Now, dressing up as one of the Doctor Who's at Comic-Con, yeah, you get noticed pretty much. But a lot of people who might be a little bit newer have no clue, right? So it's really kind of a nerd thing. In that nerd geek thing, I would say in that respect, just because a lot of people don't know Doctor Who, even though they should. Seriously, America. Wake up. It's on the Disney app, Disney Plus. Okay? I'm not sure how I feel about them having it. I don't want them to ruin it. So, I love Disney. I do. But when big corporations get a hold of teeny productions, and I don't mean Doctor Who was a teeny production, but, it was definitely smaller scale than Disney. I just don't want them to ruin my show. So anyway, that's my side note. But no, when we feel that confidence and we feel that fearless freedom, you are lighting up the room. You are lighting up the world. You are putting something out there that, a lot of people don't get. Oh, good morning or good afternoon. Good afternoon, Paula. Yeah, see, they definitely should know Doctor Who. Legit. I dressed up as number 10 in his blue suit, except I had a skirt instead of suit. And I had the red Converse. I still have the red Converse though. I love those. But anyways, what I was saying is that when you have that fearless freedom, you really do light up the world. When you go out there and you are not trying to be anybody but yourself, you are lighting up the world. You may not feel like it, you may not seem like it, but you are. People out there notice. Even if you just walk somebody that might be having a bad day, that energy that you're exuding may just kind of whack them in a very, in in a very kind way, in a very nice way. But you know, you could be removing all that negative energy from them. Yes. Paula says, my favorite. He's so sexy. He really is. Oh, you got to go into my stories. I just posted a picture of him from Wimbledon. So, but yeah, he is my favorite doctor. And I think a lot of it is that just so, I mean, that was an energy. That's probably why Doctor Who came up, because this doctor, all right, and really kind of the person who plays him, David Tennant, they really kind of light up the place, right? There's just this, they exude this confidence, but like kind of like a shy confidence. Sometimes it feels like, I don't know, for real, but you know, but even on Doctor Who, there was just this confidence that this particular doctor exuded, and each one is different. And I love all the different doctors they've had. I admit I've not seen a lot of the earlier ones before the reboot of the series back in the early 2000s. But I have been trying to start from the beginning to watch them all. But it keeps moving to different streaming services, and I think it finally found a home on BritBox. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I gotta look. But anyways, there was this confidence, and it just in general, that all the doctors kind of bring. You know, and it is for them. I think they're my best example of having a fearless freedom. They know who they are. They're very authentic, but there's still room for them to learn about themselves, right? From all the companions that they have, that they travel with. But there is a fearless freedom about them. And if you ever watch the show, you will notice in their companions how their confidence, you know, but also how, you know, sometimes when they muck it up, they realize it, and kind of their accountability changes the people that travel with them. You know, it brings them back when they come back to go back and live a normal life, however that's possible after spending time with the doctor, right? When they come back, they're different. They're more confident. They're more, you know, because they've done so many things, because the doctor has shown them that, you know, their potential is limitless. And, you know, we don't have a real Doctor Who in all of our lives. So we have to remind ourselves, be your own Doctor Who. You know, be your own doctor. You know, show yourself your limitless potential. Not by fitting yourself into somebody else's box. Not by squeezing yourself into somebody else's idea of who you should be. But by being yourself. Being your authentic self, being who you are happy to be. Because that's what life is all about. It's about bringing to this world who we are. And I'm not going to say that I've never fallen into the trap of fitting into other people's boxes. I think I tried to fit into other people's boxes almost my entire life, because I was afraid of what people would think. You know, and then you kind of start discovering these gifts that you have, right? And at least for me, and then you really try to make yourself small because you don't want people to think you're crazy. That you're all woo-woo-y. Well, I am woo-woo-y. It sounds like a totally made up word. You know, there's lots of us out there who do. I know people that will be watching this and maybe are watching this, you know, have the woo-woo. But to me, those are natural gifts. Those are things we're born with. I think everybody's born with something, but the problem is it kind of gets shoved out of belief. That's not real. You can't do that. Don't believe that. Or this particular book says you shouldn't because it's evil. No, it's not. That's a teaching. The book doesn't teach you how to be evil. You know, it warns you not to misstep. Yeah, any book can do that. Hell, I could write a book right now. It just says one word. One word. Take accountability. Or a few words. Take accountability. If you make a mistake, take accountability. But we're taught to not believe these things. Maybe it's religion out of us. Maybe it's fear-based out of us. Whatever, or maybe, you know, media, you know, like watching movies or something where they get everything wrong about witchcraft. Well, it's most times, not all the time, but where they get a lot wrong about witchcraft, where they get a lot wrong about the tarot, where they get a lot wrong about everything, because it makes it scary, right? And because they're feeding on other people's fears. Do your homework. It's great. It's great for horror movies, but a guy in a hockey mask, if he's just walking around the street, doesn't mean he's going to kill you with his machete. No, he needs a lake nearby, right? Yeah. So why would you think that all tarot cards are bad? Why would you think that all oracles are bad? I get it. There's been a lot of stigma put on, however you want to put it, witches, wizards, everything. I think Harry Potter kind of killed that stigma a little bit, but not a lot, right? Because you still had all the bad guys. But it killed the stigma a little bit, just not a lot. But then you have the horror movies, and it's like, ooh, like I think there's a horror movie called Tarot. Even the pentagram, guys, even the pentagram is not bad. If it's upside down, that is probably a little more Christian bad, all right? But it's not. Right side up, technically. It was actually one of the very, very early Christian symbols before they came up with the cross. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it a little bit. A lot of people don't know that. So, but again, the way the way we view things in movies and whatnot, Yeah, I do like Ed and Lorraine Warren, but they did cause a lot of that stigma too. And I don't think it was so much her as it was him, and it was really such a undiscovered thing at the time. And I think, for her, because I really do believe, I've seen her in later shows where she's really kind of been the psychic and just kind of dove right in. But yeah, Ed Warren never really rubbed me right. I didn't have a problem with him. I did, because I think it was more him, just kind of, and I don't think he meant badly, but I think the problem is they made it too religious. That's just my opinion, but I agree with you, Paula. And I think, because it was the time that it was, I think she just kind of followed his lead, because you kind of saw later in shows, like in different shows that she'd been on, with the new cycle of ghosty shows that came out, how different she was when she wasn't with him. So, but, there are a lot of artifacts out there that are bad, that just have this gnarly energy that's imbued on them. I do believe Annabelle, knock on wood, because I don't want her to come haunt me, is one of them. But that's why I don't like dolls. Dolls are just creepy. But yeah, so it's really kind of discerning. It's really kind of discerning, between one thing and the other. And but I see what you're saying, though. I totally see what you're saying, because when I go back and think of some of the documentaries that I've seen that they were in, like even the Conjuring family didn't want them anywhere near them again, because they feel like they just kind of stirred it up more and made it more difficult for them. So they kind of had a falling out with them that a lot of people don't realize they had. And I mean the first one, the one where with Lily Taylor, I believe it was, that played the mom. So yeah, that family just kind of, they talked about it in a different documentary we watched, because someone asked them about them, and we're like, yeah, we wouldn't let them come back, because after they left, it got worse. So there are good ways to go about things, there are bad ways to go about things. I have studied different things, because if you're gonna step into the metaphysical here, kids, but if you're gonna go to battle, you got to know what you're fighting. So, I have taken a lot of different classes and a lot of different theology things. But it's not always about heaven and hell, right? There are like 1,000 religions out there. It's just negative energies. And it's not always, what we look at as bad isn't always bad. If you want to jump into fiction again, talk about the Ghost Whisperer, right? People are like, oh my God, this ghost is haunting me. They won't leave me alone. It's kind of spooky. But if you watch the progression of the ghost comes in all freaky. But by the time they leave, they have this light around them, because they're in turmoil. They're in pain. I think some spirits come back to visit. I think some just like their lives the way it was. I think some of it is residual energy because, you know, maybe it was an event that was either so horrific or an event that was just, you know, people's lives that were just happy where they were, that they kind of left their energetic energy on it. The Whaley House, I think, is part of that. I think there is residual haunting there, and I think there is intelligent haunting there. I've been there several times. I've felt both. I have felt both. I have just felt the energy of the home, very lively, very spirited, but I've also felt, you know, and I felt the sadness outside where some bad things had happened, just family accidents, accidents that, these just freak accidents that happen that, you know, but kind of just leave a sad mark. And I've had things interact with me there. People, I don't know who, at least someone my height, but, so maybe the mom, maybe the sister, but either way, whether you believe in it or not, it's around there, you know, and it's how we look at it. It's how we view it. You know, if we go in afraid, we're going to dim the light. But if we go in, you know, with that fearless freedom, not narcissistic freedom, okay, but that fearless freedom, that confidence saying, okay, I can do this. I mean, yeah, if you're out there ghost hunting, we'll just use ghost hunting as an example. I mean, yeah, some things might offend you really quick because you're like, whoa, you know, but once you kind of come back into your body, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, you're fine. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? So, I admit, you know, I'm going to go out on the limb here again. Baby sibling and I can't tell you how many people we've crossed. We have crossed so many people that 3 of them came back and offered to help us cross people that were stuck, that weren't feeling good. We even gave them a name, you know, and it was interesting because, for those of you who don't believe it, one of them was Charlie. And I'm going to tell you a little story about Charlie. I know we kind of veered away from the card, but I'm going to tell you a little story about Charlie because he's one of the very first people we ever crossed together. And Charlie was a little boy who kind of got caught up in the Arizona territory wars between the Native Americans and the settlers that had come in I believe Cochise County. And, you know, there was kind of a lot of infighting after Charlie died. Charlie was the only son and youngest child of a judge. And it turns out, from what we have surmised, that he was kind of killed in friendly fire, but not from the people who took him. They actually took him, but, you know, whoever, you know, they're like, dude, what'd you do? Okay, this is not something you should have done. But they took care of him. You know, they took care of him. They didn't mistreat him. They didn't anything. You know, one of the ladies of the tribe took care of him, took him in. And, you know, but unfortunately, Charlie died. So when baby sibling was a little girl, we've talked about this before on the show, so I don't think she'll mind me sharing it. But when baby sibling was a little girl, she had an imaginary friend named Charlie. And she used to play with him in the wash behind her house, which is kind of like just this dry area where when it rains, it's kind of the water overflow. But a lot of rocks and stuff. Just, you know, very tomboy when she was little. And she used to play with Charlie, and Charlie used to kind of keep her entertained because, you know, she grew up an only child. So, and I say it that way because she does have a brother, but they were not raised together. So anyways, later when Landon was a little boy, you know, Marie heard him talking. She's like, well, who are you talking to? And he's all, Charlie. And so this went on for a couple of days and whatnot. And then her and I were talking and we were talking about something. And I said, well, you know, the only name that's coming through, I said, I keep seeing my ex-boyfriend whose name was Charles. And I said, I don't know why. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, what? And she's all, well, he said he's talking to Charlie. And she's all, I had an imaginary friend when I was little named Charlie. So I did some Googling. Fortunately, Charlie, because of who he was on the internet and a picture. And so baby sibling just showed Landon a picture, and she's all, do you recognize this? And just nonchalantly while he's eating lunch, oh yeah, it's Charlie. I know. Well, we just kind of, let me just say, I was at lunch while we were doing this. She was working from home, and the phone was quiet for a good solid minute. Well, we both kind of like, because we didn't know we could do this. You know, some of my cousins and I have all grown up with gifts, and we've all kept it a secret and kept ourselves small, you know, because we thought people would think we're crazy. And that's another thing that these movies do. they scare people, or they make them want to just, you don't need to, all right, my higher powers have got my back. My spirit table's got my back. But, oh, thanks, Paula. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then in time, I have another story, which is interesting because we called this little group, we have a name for this little group. And we ended up, passing another gentleman who just, he kind of blamed somebody for his death, was really, really angry, couldn't cross over. So we got him. But then one night, I remember having a dream. And it was about this beautiful little girl. Probably, well, I say little. She was about 15. And she, I could see the lights. I could see where she lived. And I could see, just bad things. It was just a girl who kind of lived in her own world. And Casey was not imaginary. Sorry, that just came out muddy. Casey was not imaginary. Casey was real. And I'm sure you know that. But yeah, Casey was, I think Casey might still kind of be around. Might be your spirit guide. But anyways, I had this dream about this little girl, and, she just wanted to be a dancer. She just wanted to be a dancer. And, and then I woke up, and I was sad. I realized I had been crying when I was waking up because her stepfather, bad things, and then took her life. And not trying to bring the mood down here, but it was weird because this is probably about a couple of weeks after Charlie and after we crossed Al. That's what we call him, Al. But Aaron was the last one. And I remember every so often, if somebody doesn't get my attention, I get this really icky, putrid smell that happens around me, like death. Okay, like death. And it doesn't matter where I'm at. And I always know, oh, I'm sorry I hadn't gotten your 5 million other signals, but I see you now and I hear you now. I smell you now. And so that's kind of like their symbol, like, hey, we need help. I need help. And so I texted baby sibling, and the thing is, I'd written down my dream in my phone notes. And I told her, I said, I have this really icky smell in my room. It smells like somebody died in my dresser. And, I said, and just in case, I checked, but I said, there's nothing in there. There's just nothing in there. I said, everything's clear. There's no weird animals or nothing. All the cats are alive. And she's, so she's like, LOL. She's like, no. She's like, someone's trying to get your attention. And this is what she says. I see a girl from not forever ago, but from not, like our time. Aaron was Depression era. In like a shack, which kind of lived in an encampment where the people did work, farm work and stuff. And and I see a ballet dancer. And I was like, girl. And so then we figured out her name. I said, well, what's her name? And she's like, well, it starts with an E. So she always says starts with an E, and I start going through everything. And then we hit on Aaron. She's like, yeah, Aaron. Because a girl from work popped into my head, and I was like, whoa. And I kid you not, after we figured that out, the smell was still there, but I asked Charlie to come through, and he came through, and the smell left. He took her. He crossed her. And then we realized that this was something that we could do for other people. So, even though we've gotten a little bit away from the card, this is a bit of fearless freedom. When we stop living in other people's boxes, when we stop, placing ourselves and making ourselves small because of what we're worried about other people thinking, when we start just living our authentic selves, we start helping people, whether they're living or have passed. Because I do believe souls get stuck here. And I think a lot of times it's out of fear. For Aaron, it was guilt. For Al, it was anger. For Charlie, it was just because, he just wanted to be reunited with his mom. But he couldn't find her, so he kept trying to find people to help him find her. Because he didn't know how to cross. I'm not sure he even knew he was dead, to be honest with you. Because we had to kind of coax him through, and he cried a little bit. And then it's like, okay. And then his mom came. But then he came back, and he brought 2 friends with him. And they help us. You know, and I shouldn't even say they help us. They do all the work. And whether you believe it or not, it is one of the most fantastic things. And look, I'm getting goosebumps. It's one of the most brilliant things that I belong to, that I am so proud to have helped kind of set up a foundation for. I'm not taking the credit for this. These are them. They reached out. But I'm grateful to them because with us doing this, and, you know, and 3 different entities, you know, they taught us, even though it's taken me this long to really kind of go, fuck it, right? I turned 50 and I'm all like, you know what? This is going to be the decade where I stop living by everybody else's rules. It's still taken me a little while. But when I hit 53, I was like, you know what? Fuck everybody. Not everybody, but I mean, it's like, I am not going to fit myself into other people's boxes anymore. I shouldn't have to. If you don't like the way I live my life, or you don't like the things I'm capable of, or the things I'm able to do, you know where the door is. I don't force my beliefs on anybody. I don't force anyone to believe, well, what I believe, because I don't force my beliefs on anybody. But I don't think that we should have to hide ourselves because society is still afraid of us. And that's the one thing I can say about the ghosty shows, you know, is that they kind of put it on the map. So people are like, oh, you know, and then even just the fictionalized shows, you know, like the Ghost Whisperer, or, I can't think of the one with the real psychic, but, definitely a witch. You don't look at all. Glamour spell, huh? I'm sorry. I don't really understand that. But yeah, you know, I mean, I'm happy being who I am. I'm not afraid anymore. I've always been the different one in my family. And while I've never actually titled myself as a witch, and I don't think for any other reason than, you know, I mean, why should we have to classify ourselves because we're magical? But at the same time, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, 53. I love being in my 50s. This is like my favorite decade so far. My 40s were a shit show because it was my healing decade. And I'm not saying that I haven't enjoyed my life. I have. But my 50s is kind of like, fuck the world. All right? And like I said, I don't mean it that way. I don't mean it in a bad way. But I just meant, you know what? I'm not going to put myself in somebody else's box. This is why I talk openly about this stuff, because all the people that are younger than me and all the people that are older than me, I don't want you to do that anymore. I don't want you to squeeze yourself into somebody else's box because it makes them happy. If they love you, if they care about you, if they're your friend, your family, your lover, whoever it is, they will love you for who you are. They will accept you for who you are. I mean, you don't have to burst into the room and go, hey, bitches, I'm a witch. No. Okay. Or, hey, bitches, I'm this, that, or the other. No. I mean, a doctor doesn't walk into the room and go, hey, I'm a doctor if anybody needs me. No. They get on a plane, they walk into a bar, they're just themselves, unless somebody needs them. And I will tell you, people will find you. Whatever it is that you are gifted with, if somebody needs you, they will find you. And, yeah, see? I'm so proud of you, Paula Kay. And I say that because, so she put in the comments, so I can read it because it's public. I'm 50 in April, and I'm on that vibe now. Yes, my cousin will be 50 in April as well. And she's reaching this vibe as well. She's really kind of stepping into her own. And, you know, she's kind of, and, you know, there was a time at Thanksgiving where a couple of us sat around the table and they're all like, wait, Roll, you can do that too? I always thought I was nuts. It's like, no, you're not nuts. But, and I'm not going to say who. But yeah, so I've had this conversation with family, and it is a little wild, you know, and even though it feels like we've gotten away from this card, we haven't. Even if you don't believe in what I believe in, and you have your own path, walk your own path, walk your own, you know, your own journey. Each one of us are given our own journey, but a lot of times we walk parallel to it because we're too busy trying to please everybody else. You cannot people please your way through life. It feels like you can. I used to try to, but it's very draining. It's very draining. and, I've seen Paula in some of her posts on Facebook, and she's just out, like, yeah, like, we all have that strut happening now, but she does. And it's been a privilege and a beautiful thing to see, even though I think she's always kind of walked her own walk, but to really just see that vibe happening. I see your glow, my friend. I do. I really, really do. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You've always had a beautiful light. You've always had a beautiful energy. But I've seen the switch that went off. Kind of like that click, like, yeah, you know what? And it's a beautiful thing to see in everybody. So, anyways, be your authentic self. Walk in your own fearless freedom. Light up the world with that. Show the world who you are and what you're made of. Like I said, you don't have to burst through the saloon doors like, you're the bad guy that just entered town and said, hey, I'm here. No. All you have to do is walk out the front door and just be yourself. And you are going to put so much beautiful light in this world. By the way, your parents say hello. I know. Everybody just kind of like, whew, in today. I don't know. Maybe Charlie I see Charlie. I feel like Charlie brought them through. Like they're really not sure how it works. I'm sure your parents have visited you, Paula, but right now they're just saying we say hello, we're trying to visit, but we're still trying to figure it out. So help your parents. You can help your parents figure out how to come through, and your dad. I can't remember if he was just if he had any mental issues, but your mom says he's still trying to remember. Like he's still trying to balance on the other side. He's still trying to get his footing, and just kind of come back into himself. So, and when he's able to do that and kind of clear the path from here to there, he'll be able to come through more fully. But, if you do feel your parents, you are definitely feeling your parents. I know you know that, but I'm validating it for you. So, dementia. Yeah. So he's still having a little bit of trouble. And it's not any trouble. It's just every time he tries to come through, he kind of hits that dementia wall. So they're doing the cleaning out of it. So you can help them with that. You can just kind of white light that space between here and there for them to make it easier for them to come through. So like I said, I know you know this because I know you can do all this, but they are coming through to you, and they are saying hello and that they love you and they thank you for everything that you did for them in the last few years of their life. That it did not go unappreciated, even if it felt like it did, which I don't think it did with you, because I know how much you love your mom and dad and how much you miss them. But yeah, see, a lot of signs from mom. Dad is trying, and mom is kind of showing him the way. So, I keep getting chills. So I know that your dad is going to be like, once he gets it, he's going to be like older siblings, Uncle Gene, and it is going to feel like this funny, playful energy. And so if you're already feeling that, your dad is figuring it out. So anyways, like I said, I know you know all this. I'm not trying to tell you anything you don't know, but I think your parents are just trying to say, make sure she knows, kind of like Shelly, make sure she knows. So, yeah, so it happens, guys. Sometimes whoever's watching this show going, what the hell is happening here? This is what happens sometimes. This is why I said a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything, I always believe there's a reason people come on, especially if they don't come on all the time or are unable to come on a lot. Because Paul and I we're not in the same time zone. It's like late afternoon where she's at. Like what? About 5:20? About 5:20 your time? I'm guessing you're about 8 hours ahead. So anyways, all right. I gotta hit the road soon. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Older sibling, Muddy, Paula, thank you all for popping on. Muddy, again, I hope you all, I hope everything turns out okay. Okay. And everything goes well. I know, so I don't know. I don't want to share anything that's not mine to share. So, but now Paula understands too. So I was right. It's 5:20. So anyways, yeah, my lovely girls, my beautiful, beautiful girls, all three of you that are popped on. And to anybody later, my handsome men, my beautiful people out there, however you identify, I love all of you. I do, even if I don't know you, because that's how much energy I have today. I just love everybody. And I haven't even had coffee yet. Wait till I have that. I'll probably be like able to run back to my dad's house. So, oh, Muddy. She says it will definitely be it will be different from here on out. I doubt she'll ever go home. I know, and I'm worried about your dad. So, yeah, I am sorry. But, you know, I'm always around if you need an ear, okay? I mean, not even more than texting. If you need to call, call. So, you know, I know this is rough, and I know it's hard for you. And like I said, you know, if any of you guys have questions or anything, you know, the plant guy, Troy, he's going through this. He is the caregiver to his mother-in-law. So, I keep telling him he needs to write a book, you know, for caregivers and how not to feel guilty. And, you know, it's the long goodbye. It really is. It's the long goodbye. So, again, my best to all of you. Paula, I'll do what I can to try to help your dad too from my end. So if we both work on him, I think we'll be able to get him to start coming through with your mom. So anyways, again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. I hope you, yeah, I hope you, again, squirreling brain. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelley Marie Lucas. Anybody can watch. I post to YouTube, TikTok, across the board. Again, thank you so much for just kind of settling in for story time. Again, these are beautiful things that have happened in my life. They were a little weird at first, but yeah. Oh yeah, see, and Paula and Muddy, you guys, we're both in the same group. We're both in the Violet group. So if you guys want to talk to each other, you know, I know I personally can't say that I know how difficult that is, but having a sick parent, I do understand. And not my dad. My dad will get better, but my mom. So I do understand a little bit from that end, but I can't put myself in the shoes that you guys are in. And I admit, and I don't mean this to sound callous, I'm grateful I don't have to, but I want to make sure you have the resources, and even just, I mean, you have enough resources on the internet, but I want to make sure that you guys have personal people that you can talk to, that maybe you can just kind of bounce things off of, or just, you know. So there you go. Again, have a great day, everybody. Ladies, I love you all so much. And yeah, have a great day. Thank you for watching.